It's the second ever pole position for Sandra Holzem in GT Masters. Keanu Bloom alongside with that grid drop. Then it's Tim Zimmerman and Colin Berninghausen who line up on row 2 of the grid. On row 3, Felix Hersiger and Max Rice. The mighty Mustang has been looking very dialed in, both in the hands of Keanu Bloom and Max Rice in qualifying. John Paul Southern and Storm Yerdrum. We've had enough storms for one day, thank you very much. Line up on row 4 of the grid, and on row 5, Badouin Detu has Tim Hooter for company. On row 6, it'll be the cars that have had grid drops, Mark Kastelitz and Robin Rogowski, 2 of the 3 grid droppers. And then bringing up the rear in the BMW, Joseph Ellerine. He's got a new co-driver for this weekend. We say new, but Alan Valenti, who we have seen in one of the Haupt Racing Team Mustangs, has moved across to replace Jan Duran. And we're keeping our eyes on the lights because we are getting ready to go racing. Race 5 of the season, ADAC GT Masters, and a stonking start for Sandro Holzem. Tim Zimmerman having a look to the inside of Keanu Bloom into turn 1. Everybody tiptoeing. You can see how greasy it is there. They've all made it around there, down that little drop down the hill. It is bumpy round here as well, so the drivers need to be on their guard, especially when the tyres are still relatively cold. We're on board with Colin Berninghausen. We can see everybody scrapping up ahead of him, but this is a long race. We do not want to be throwing it away.
To 4th place now, Colin Berninghausen watching them from just behind in that red and white Porsche as well, side by side. Go the next Porsche with Storm Yerdrum in the FK Performance BMW, and the BMW has to yield. So good start this for Mark Kastelitz, who in that blue and white Porsche for Resume More Than Racing gains a position. That puts him up to 7th place. So Yerdrum dropping back one out wide for Bedouin Detu in the Aston Martin. And look at this, Colin Berninghausen trying to find a way around the outside here. Storm Yerdrum trying to find a way around the outside of the other Porsche. Porsche on the attack, Porsche on the defence. Berninghausen goes through, and John Paul Southern loses another place. And you can see already parts of this track at Bride are bone dry, aren't they, out on the far side. So Max Rice has fallen to the back of that group now, but comes out wide, coming out onto the banking. Bedouin Detu in the Aston Martin goes for it again down the inside. He's going to gain another place, isn't he? Yet through he goes on the Audi, and that's another place gained ahead of Robin Rogowski, and up into 8th position now. So going really well here is Bedouin Detu.
Max Rice was trying to follow through on his shirt tails, but Robin Rogowski was having none of it. But Storm Yerdrum has decided, you know what, I'm going to try and get both of you. So Storm Yerdrum on the wide outside. So Yerdrum jumps up to 9th place, relegates Rogowski down to 10th. Now Max Rice, he says it's my turn to try and challenge for position. So Max Rice in the blue and gold Mustang. Up ahead, Bedouin Detu. We know that. Come to you, Aston Martin is quick. We saw a very similar car being driven by Nicky Tim in the DTM race that's just been and gone, and he was very rapid in that, and he's left the car of John Paul Southern in his wake here. So Southern also losing a position to Storm Yerdrum. So a lot of chopping and changing for positions in the early part of this race. Someone tell them there's another 71.5 minutes to go yet. We don't need to do it all now. Max Rice looks to the inside of John Paul Southern into turn 1. Needs to tiptoe very carefully here with that changing surface. You can see the spray rising up. He's to the inside into turns 2 and 3. John Paul Southern coming back in, a bit of a twitch there around the corners, but he'll have the inside line, Max Rice will, as they come onto the tri-oval. He's got the job done even before they got up to turn 5. Now
it's hugely hot in the cockpit. I was talking to Tim Zimmerman earlier, the FK Performance BMW. He said at one point yesterday, which was a similar temperature to today, inside the car, the alarm started going off, saying it was over 70 degrees inside the car. I said, how much fluid do you get to drink then? He said, none. We don't have a single ounce of fluid. There are no water bottles in the car. So these drivers, even though they're only doing half the race each, they're going to have to be so fit in this race to keep up their concentration, let alone anything else.
This is a fight for 6th place. Bedouin Detu and Mark Kastelitz. Kastelitz in the number 14 Porsche. Was that a helping hand, or did he just lose the back of the car? But Storm Yerdrum there ready to capitalise. Max Rice as well. This is such a scrap for that 6th place. We're still waiting for the pit window, which will be coming in about 4.5 minutes. but this is great racing. Let's not change it now. Almost 3 abreast out, back onto the tri-oval briefly to the inside. Storm Yerdrum and Max Rice still at the back of that pack at the moment. Kastelitz goes deep and wide, loses a position, so Rice is through, but Baudouin Detu has got the oncoming storm of Storm Yerdrum now filling his mirrors and almost pushing him around the corner. This is for 6th place. And suddenly Kastelitz has been relegated to the back of that pack within the space of just a few corners.
Yeah, get a replay and look at this. Look how you can take these different lines through the corner, throwing it over the curves with Storm Yerdrum. You're back on board with Colin Berninghausen, and now we look at the battle for the lead of the race, showing his nose, showing his intent for the first time really in this race is Keanu Blum, and we know from past experience, if there is a chance, Keanu will take it.
When they've got anything better, right, the pit window is open, so first to blink into the pits comes Colin Berninghausen, also Baudouin Detu is in, also Storm Yerdrum, so Yerdrum will be handing over to Fabio Rauer. Leo Pickler will be jumping into the Razzoon More Than Racing number 41 Porsche. So Colin Berninghausen can go out the back, put his feet up, but don't get your overalls off because you've got to come back and get back in the seat a little bit later. There's Storm Yerdrum, Fabio Rauer there. He's another one who celebrated a birthday a couple of weeks ago. He was 20 years old and he takes over from Storm Yerdrum, jumps into the seat of that car. So there's a bit of refueling going on. I don't see anybody doing any tyre changes. Yes, we do. So we've got a tyre change on the car number 10. So they're choosing to take their long pit stop first.
The Aston Martin have a long stop and a tyre change of Jamie Day and Bed 1 to 2. And we get side-by-side action and a change, possibly of lead, not quite. Olsen fending off Blum, but Blum is pressing hard now, isn't he? Rogalski and Simon Connor Prim in the Audi long pit stop. Tyre change for them, as well as John Paul Southern and Jonas Karklis in the 163 Lambo. Change tyres as well.
Look at this. Oh, good, you're keeping on top of that. For the lead now, side by side, Mustang versus BMW. Out of the final turn, out onto the pit straight. They come onto the tri-oval. The grunt of the Keanu Blum Mustang now with a nose in front. Towards turn 1 they come. Who is going to brake late? Who is going to lead into turn 1? Almost neck and neck. It's advantage Keanu Blum into turn 1 it comes, relegating Sandra Holsen, the pole sitter, down into that second place.
0.3 seconds above the minimum pit stop time. They got very close to perfection with that, but in 1 minute 41.5 for the HRT crew with that number 2 Mustang.
Here we go.
Yeah, just got on the power. It just lost it, didn't he, there? That's why he went wide.
Up to the rear and then the front.
Just losing it on under acceleration. Here, just as he gets on the gas here, just steps away, back end steps out, he overcorrects it, and then corrects it again, but there's no room for error there. Absolutely not.
Is promoted up into 3rd place. And Nicholas Callas will probably just want to stay in that car for a little while and regather himself. So Keanu Blum, when he gets back to the garage, will be, mate, I'm so sorry, but we'll try again tomorrow. And you know, HRT will get to work on that car, we'll get it squared up, and they will be ready to race tomorrow. They'll also have one eye on this battle here, because the sister car, Emil Yerdrum, 8/10 out of the cars in front on the last lap. So Leo Pickler, in the number 41 Razzoon More Than Racing Porsche, is closing in on this battle. So this is going to be quite critical, I think, for Leighton Furry to try.
Race weekend at the Red Bull Ring at the start of the season. Meanwhile, another pair of very different cars, equal on track. It's the BMW versus the Audi this time, and this is absolutely nose to tail between Alan Valente and Simon Connor Prim. It's going to take some getting used to seeing Alan in that BMW
yes.
in those colour scheme, isn't it? But he's hopped from one car to the other pretty effectively over the last few years. A former championship runner-up when he was in the Mercedes a few years ago. The Swiss driver keeping at the moment Simon Connor Prim behind him. Simon has also driven a few different cars in the championship this year. So this is the battle for 9th place on track. 0.5 seconds between them at the start of the lap. It's come down to about 0.1 of a second now, though. Simon Connor Prim, nose to tail with the BMW, goes for the move on the way into turn 8, halfway alongside, not fully alongside. Right-hander coming up, the BMW deep into the corner, scrambles back onto the racing line, and Alan Valente just about keeps Simon Connor Prim behind, but that Audi looks quicker at the moment, and he'll have another chance on the way down into turn 1. Maybe before that, has a little lunge up at turn 11. Not many people go for a move there. Fantastic! Simon Connor Prim gets through as they go out of turn 11 into turn 12, and that was a very unconventional place to overtake, but he nailed it.
Leo Pickler in fourth and Leighton Furry in third is down to well under 2 seconds now. So Pickler giving it absolutely everything to close in on this battle. A podium position, very much a possibility for the number 41 car. So this is handing the lead effectively over to Leighton Furry for the time being, but he will also have to come in eventually into the pits. So Leighton Furry at the moment is into the pit lane as well. So Leighton Furry peeling off into the pits to hand over to Tim Zimmermann. This is all happening at the same time, isn't it? So the Holzams are doing the switch in the Schubert Motorsport BMW. So I'm looking to see who hasn't pitted. I think Finn Zulaf is still out on track at the moment. And then another Liquimoli Lamborghini filling the mirrors as well. Doesn't know which way to turn. Anyway, Zimmermann, he's managed to get involved with back markers a fair bit. Yeah. That's not helped him. And then once all the pit stops are done, the gloves will be off. And I'm just looking here at the 41 car. Yeah, he's into the pits. It's just not showing up on the graphic at the moment. The 40, where is the 41 car? I think he's stopped. I think the 41 car has stopped. There he is, yes, at the pit and lane entrance. I could see that he was dropping down the order. I think there's been a problem. Has he run out of fuel, or has the car had an issue? But this is a disaster. The car that has been so quick in the hands of Leo Pickler and Colin Berninghausen and is not even going to make it back to the garage. Well, I should think that Sandro Holzen will be breathing a sigh of relief that Pickler didn't try and pit earlier, because that would have been a disaster with that longer pit stop that he was having to take. So safety car is out. So if our graphics are correct, it means that it will be Sandro Holzen that will lead the way. I'm just checking this out on the tracker as well. And now we are getting ready for the safety car to come in on this lap. The car's already up to turn 8. So we're going to be back to green in just a few moments. The lights are off on the safety car, because he's now dropped back into the clutches of Max Rice.
Did well to stay ahead, though, didn't he, the Aston Martin? That was all triggered on the restart going into turn 1. Mark Kastelitz in the blue and white Resume Porsche had to go just behind the pair of them.
Yeah. And the car that's leading the way, and they're still doing it. I think Baudouin dead too. I think that's maybe just giving him a little bit of a boost to try and get back into it. Mark Kastelitz is in there just ahead of him. Storm Yerdrum at the front of that crew at the moment. But they're all fighting. Maybe a bit of an opportunity as they head out of turn 5 and in towards turn 6, almost pushing the Lamborghini around the corner. The championship leading car ducks to the left-hand side. Rice taking a higher line into turn 6. A downhill bumpy section here. A little bit of contact between the two, but Rice has a nose on the inside, but then that becomes the outside. The two running absolutely neck and neck. The inside line belongs to Felix Hersiger at the moment. Has Rice got the power to try and get around the outside? No, he hasn't. He ducks in behind. Meanwhile, John Paul Southern, a lap down, keeps an eye from behind, and he sees his teammate getting relegated a position as Max Rice now moves up into a podium position.
Let's see, into turn 8. He just sort of creeps through. He doesn't lunge, does he? He just gets the car into the position, steals the racing line, a little bit wide under braking for the Lamborghini.
Having a little bit of a trip up into the corner, or was that John Paul Southern? The two cars identical running together. Not a problem in terms of position because they were not being challenged. But Storm Yerdrum is being challenged. His brother Giuliano Holzam has finished second twice. They were wondering what it was going to take to stand on the top step of the podium, and finally it happens now here at the Lausitzring. It is a first ever win in ADAC GT Masters for Sandro and Giuliano Holzam. The drivers posing for the cameras while we have a look at the point standings. It's really closing up, isn't it? 10 points between Hersiger, Zulaf, Furry and Zimmermann, and the Holzams now just 26 points behind and in a very strong position. Wow, what a race. The first endurance race of the season sees a win, a historic first ever win for Sandro and Giuliano Holzam. Valuable points for Tim Zimmermann and Leighton Furry, and Max Rice and Emil Yerdrum getting their first podium of the season as well. Championship leaders, Felix Hersiger and Finn Zulaf in 4th, ahead of Storm Yerdrum and Fabio Rauer. Mark Kastelitz and Pavel Lefterov in 6th, ahead of Robin Rogowski and Simon Conoprim in the Audi.